Hi, I'm Yannick Hanfman.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Dennis Kudla.
This is Sebastian Olfner.
It's Marc-Andrea Whistler.
I am Francisco Cerundolo.
And you're listening to the gametolovepodcast. Hopefully you enjoy it.
Hopefully.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. What a crazy day that this one has turned out to be. There's been people cancelling things left, right, and centre. And we've had JG. He is now in the air. What a time to pick to go on holiday. Hey, Covey. And Covey is here, your boy, taking us through this press conference. The biggest. What's the biggest shock? The press conference or JG missing the press conference?
Honestly, yeah, it's pretty close. I'd say it's like a tie. I'm actually shocked that JG is unable to be at this in this moment. You know, he's such a massive Rafa fan. So, but hey, hopefully he'll be able to get some Wi-Fi on the plane, or as soon as he lands, he'll get some news. But hopefully we'll be able to inform him and the GTL viewers as it moves forward here.
Yeah, for sure. This one, we don't know what's going to be announced. We just know that it is going to be for something fairly significant. The last time I know he called a press conference, it wasn't good news. And that's the big problem with these things. As soon as he calls them, everyone thinks the worst. And I don't know. Everybody's been on social media, the stomach's in knots. No one knows what's happening. Is he not playing Roland Garros? Is he retiring from tennis? We don't know what's going on. Is he just going to announce he's playing? What if it's that? Then what are you doing to us, Rafa?
Honestly, I was fairly confident that he was just going to say, I'm pulling out of Roland Garros. But with all of the social media hype that's been going on, I'm honestly not sure anymore, because there are quite a few people who are like, it's going to be a bigger announcement than initially thought.
No.
So yeah, I'm just really curious as to what's going on here.
It's not kicked off yet. I mean, I think they're keeping everyone in suspense. It's like one of those walkouts that they do for the boxing. Someone's already in the ring, and that's every Rafa fan everywhere. And now he's just waiting to do his walkout. JG couldn't be with us, but he did send me a message from the airport, which I'm going to play for everybody now, as I'm sure he's absolutely devastated. He's not even going to find out what this is until he lands in his destination. So here's a message from JG to all the GTL family.
Hey GTL, sorry I couldn't be there for the big press conference. As you can see, I'm currently at an airport and just waiting for my flight. Should be taking off in the next hour or so. What a day I'm missing, really, for Game to Love. The big news, Rafael Nadal potentially retiring from tennis. Is it just going to be him pulling out of Roland Garros? No one really knows the truth, but my feeling is it's going to be bad. I've got a really bad knot in my stomach about all of this, because why would he be doing such a big press conference if it's just him to say, I'm going to be playing Roland Garros? It seems to be a little bit more sinister and severe. I just hope it's not the retirement, because it's going to break me, and I'm not even going to find out until I land, because I have a 6-hour flight, I believe. I think it's 5 hours and a half. So when I land, I will not know until I refresh my messages. So fingers crossed it's not as bad news as we fear it's going to be, and let's just see. I was really disappointed about the prospect of him not playing Roland Garros, but this, with him retiring potentially, is just so bad. But anyway, good luck, Ben, with the rest of the stream. See you guys very soon, and yeah, vamos Rafa, come on, just keep playing.
There he is, JG from the airport there. He does not sound, and he's in the live chat as well. He hasn't taken off yet by the sounds of it. Said,
Okay.
I'm not ready for this. It seems that Rafa's still keeping everybody waiting. Yeah, Move Space is saying, hang in there, mate. Somebody else saying maybe get a flight attendant to keep an eye on JG during the flight. I feel he's going to be a turbulent one, let's say, but mainly
Let's hope he's
just
not traveling alone.
No, he's not traveling alone, luckily.
That's
so
good.
hopefully someone's holding his hand throughout the flight. So we've got some of our members in. Great to see all of you in for whatever this huge announcement is going to be. We've got Gene in, one of our most loyal members. If you want to join the membership, just hit the join button underneath, and it just helps support the channel. And if you join the Patreon, you get exclusive content on there and be part of Player Roulette. But will Rafa be part of Player Roulette for Roland Garros? I mean, this is just we've had such an up and down time in the lead up to this Roland Garros, but we don't really know what's going on. Like, who's the favorite? Alcaraz? Djokovic? Was it Rafa if he plays? I don't know, mate, anymore.
Has Runa potentially has thrown his name in the ring now. The one thing I'm grateful for with Rafa is that he didn't announced the press conference like 5 days ago, because we would be in a wildfire mental state right now. Luckily, he only gave us 24 hours or so to kind of ruminate in this whole situation. But I got goosebumps just wondering. Like, I definitely do not want to see this guy retire from tennis today. I really hope that's not the case. But I guess nothing yet on the presser. Oh, it's only 2 minutes yet. So
the stream at the moment is just currently they've got it running, but there's no announcement or anything like that. They haven't said when they're going to be coming out. I mean, you can imagine that, like, the media frenzy that there must be over the Rafael Nadal Academy right now. I was speaking this morning to people from ESPN. Like, they were hoping to be able to come on here, but obviously they're at the actual press conference itself. So it's going to be really tough. Like, maybe in this evening, we'll be able to get somebody on who's from the actual press conference and was able to witness it live. But it's just one of these type of things. How is everybody going to be reacting around the world? I think that's what most people want to see, is what's everybody's reaction and what's next for Rafael Nadal, maybe in life or maybe in tennis. Like, is there another step, or is it? I mean, it's just, I can't believe it's just literally before Roland Garros. What's he doing to the world?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure. I really have no idea. Like I said, I was so confident that it was just going to be the pulling out of the Roland Garros. So, I mean, I personally would be surprised if he's kind of gone into the steps of, okay, I'm A, retiring, and then B, this is kind of where I think I'm going to go. I think if he were to kind of call it a day, which, again, I really hope that's not the case, I'm pretty sure he'd probably take a beat, figure out what's going on, what he wants to do, maybe take a little break. Roger, he's been off for a year,
Do you
but
not think he's
potentially
done that already though? Like he's not played since the Australian Open. He's been trying to come back.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Almost 6 full months without a match. So he might have had time, unless he was just so focused on the actual recovery that he didn't even consider that it wouldn't go well. And then this just kind of avalanched at the last minute type of thing. Should remind viewers also, please do give a like on the video. We got almost 750,000 people in here. So big news day here. Rafael Nadal press conference from the Rafael Nadal Academy. And we are just waiting for it to kind of kick off.
Yeah, I mean, it's been one of those weeks, though. If we talk about Rome just for a second, obviously, this year, neither Djokovic nor Nadal will be in the final of Rome. And that's the first time since 2004 that that's happened. So,
yeah,
is it a turning or changing of the times, really, with like men's tennis right now, that we're starting to see some of these youngsters come through, and maybe the bodies of the older ones are starting to give up a little bit. I mean, we're seeing slightly more injuries from Djokovic at the moment as well. There's always a little something like going on with him. It doesn't matter. He's still able to play through it. But I feel like with Rafa, they're always much more serious, the injury. They don't seem to be, I can play through this one. He had to numb his whole entire foot. Oh, hang on. Rafa is out.
Looks like he's just started talking.
Yep. It's going to be in Spanish first.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder.
Would be. So,
someone please try. I'm reading the comments on the actual video as well.
Yeah. This is where I should have listened a bit closer in.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I mean, it kind of started abruptly. But we'll
it did. It came on whilst he was already talking, which is strange. So they didn't really.
Max in the house. If only TMZ could get the scoop.
Yeah. Said for the following months, the reality has been these last years, although the results when he's been playing have been everything. I'm just going to translate it.
Oh, wow.
We said good moments. And...
trabajo diario, que es lo que a uno también le da la felicidad, pues han sido años, estos últimos, sobre todo después de la pandemia, han sido años realmente difíciles, ¿no? Me ha costado tener una continuidad en todos los sentidos, sobre todo por culpa del físico que he ido encadenando.
So he said on this last bit, he said the good moments remain, and for this is what the personal sport is about at the level of daily work, which also gives one happiness due to damage. I don't know sure if that's the correct translation, but it's really difficult after the damage, and it's hard not to have continuity in all senses.
Very vague so far.
Yeah, well, that's probably just the translation.
The translation, yeah. I mean, one thing I will say,
he just said
doesn't look.
Sometimes
like
you have to just put a full stop. He said. I don't like the sound of that.
I was just about to say that I think
he said I need to put a full stop or to what is my sports career. That's terrible. So I think it's sounding like it's confirmed. No. He said when I feel physically ready. So maybe he's just saying I will need to put a full stop, but
I'm reading some of the comments on the actual stream, and someone just said so there's no return date, and now a lot of people are starting to say not retirement.
So he might just be out for so he might just be out for the foreseeable and just not coming back until. Oh my god,
that was honestly that was scary. I'm not kidding. Like that was scary, and still not fully confirmed, but
scaring me. This guy.
next year will
He
be his
said-
last year. Something
Yeah,
like
next
that.
year will be his last year. That's what he's just saying. The last year of my sports career, he said. Next year. Well, that's
Wow.
when the Olympics are. That's what I
Yep.
thought.
And that's what you called it. I remember the very beginning of the year.
Por eso estoy aquí, para mandaros estos tres mensajes más o menos de que no voy a estar en Roland Garros, que no voy a jugar.
So that's why I'm here to
2024
send you
was last year.
these messages. More Roland Garros, I'm not going to play.
Porque las cosas no sabes cómo pueden salir, pero mi intención es que el año que viene sea mi último año y poder jugar los torneos que me apetezcan para poder.
And he just keeps reiterating that next year will be my last year. I'll be able to play the tournaments that I want to be able to.
Os dejo las preguntas que queráis.
Now he's going to take some questions in Spanish.
Wow.
All right. Let's
He's
just
not
see if
playing another
there's some
tournament.
reaction that we can get from across the Twitter. All right, here we go. I'm going to just share with you some stuff on the screen just so that everybody is aware of. Oh, so he's going to read it out in English now anyway.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna, because I just muted it.
He's,
Okay, yeah, here we go.
I was even working as much as possible every single day for the last 4 months. Have been very
so
difficult months.
the last 4 months have been very difficult months.
The solution.
God, you worried me with that full stop on the career talk.
Yeah.
Oh, my word. Oh,
Oh, gosh.
God.
Yeah.
Feel myself ready to compete at the standards that I need to be.
Yeah, he says so he can't complete at the standards that he is able to compete at, like his top level.
Put myself in a position that I don't like to be in.
So he doesn't want to put himself in a position where he's obviously in a tournament and you're just going to see like a subpar Rafa. Yeah, I was able to win a couple of slams, but you probably didn't even think he was going to do that.
Yeah.
The real situation is I was not able to enjoy my diary work.
So he wasn't able to enjoy his like daily work. That's what I think we sort of caught from the first bit.
Yeah, gotcha.
Practices, all the diary work in a good way. So I was not able to enjoy.
He wasn't able to enjoy even practicing competitions. Yeah, I mean, so many issues. He's saying so many problems.
Too many days of going here practicing, but with too much pain. So
Yeah, it's too much pain during even his practices. So
to stop for a while. So my decision is to stop. I don't know when I'm gonna be able to come back to it.
so he doesn't know when he's going to be able to come back.
For a while, maybe 2 months.
And I'll bring up another tweet as well.
Maybe 4 months. I don't know. I'm not the guy who like to predict a lot the future.
So he doesn't want to predict the future, but at least it's not a retirement announcement. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
I really believe it's the right thing to do for my body and for my personal happiness.
So he needs to be happy in himself, and if his body is always in pain, he can't be happy playing tennis.
My goal or my ambition is to try to.
His ambition is to try and.
Myself, an opportunity to enjoy next year. That's probably going to be my last year.
So we don't really know exactly when he's going to come back.
Even I can't say 100%. That's going to be like this because we don't know what's.
So it's sort of open-ended, this whole thing. I mean, he could come back at some point this year.
Yeah.
But it's unlikely. I think that's what he's sort of alluding to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, Yeah, so if he keeps playing now, then he won't be able to even be competitive again in any tournament. So if he takes a break, comes back, he will be competitive again.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about, would he play if he didn't have a chance? Would he show up just to show up? And I think this kind of answers that question, that he would want to be able to be competitive.
Yeah.
Looks like he's taking questions now, again, back in Spanish.
I mean, it's just, it really does put a bit of a dampener on this Roland Garros, it has to be said. It was the one I was sort of looking forward to, Djokovic, Nadal, number 60. That's what I was hoping, but...
Yeah, it was really exciting. There was a point earlier in the year when someone asked Djokovic, when's going to be number 60 between you and Rafa? And he said, hopefully the final of Roland Garros this year. So unfortunately for all of us, we don't get to see that. But Rafa did go over some stuff. He said, last 4 months have been very tough. He says, I can't predict the future, and it's not a business that I'm enjoy being a part of. But he's like, I'm not sure when I might come back. Could be 1.5 to 2 months before I get back on the practice court. So the good news is he will be back on court. We will see Rafa compete at some point, somewhere in the future. But we also are kind of getting a little preview to the beginning of the end of his career. So it looks like last year, 2024, likely will be his last year, unless, he's unable to make it back on the court this year. But I think now, without the pressure of Roland Garros, he can give himself proper time to fully recover. I mean, he's
it's massive pressure. That's the thing. When it comes around to this time of year, all anybody talks about is Rafael Nadal, and that's the problem. And he has that weight on his shoulders all the time. That's the sad thing. And he has to make these announcements. Like, no other player has to really make these announcements. Like, when it comes close to a slam, maybe Djokovic at an Australian Open be the closest one, or maybe at Wimbledon. But there's nothing the same as Rafa at Roland Garros, is there? The King of Clay is the name for a reason, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure some of his fans will be happy that his record will stay intact as well. That is something that I'm sure he takes a lot of pride in. 115-3, I believe, or 112-3, 28-0 semis and finals. Probably never going to be broken in the history of the game. But yeah, the pressure of the French Open is certainly a thing, especially for him, more so than anyone else. So I think hopefully maybe without this pressure now, he can actually allow himself to get back to 100 or close to 100. Because normally he has to come back, but he's like, oh, I got to be on, my first match of the tournament is in 2 weeks. So he might say, okay, I'm only at 80%, but that's good enough. Whereas now he might be able to say, okay, I'm going to take a little bit extra time, come back fully healthy, and then just try and run out a good end to the career.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to know, even if he comes back, if he'll be competitive, though. That's the problem. Like, the father time waits for no man, they always say. And as he's away, the mice will play. And there'll be a lot of other youngsters out there. We've seen the likes of Luna, Alcaraz. They'll just be getting better over the next course of the next year. We've seen how good that they're both progressing. Will Rafa come back to a level that can still beat those players? That's the one thing we don't know. It's an unknown. So
I mean, even if he had come back for this tournament coming up next week, would he have even been able to hang now? You know what I mean? So you're right. Time now. The factor of time is going to multiply in the career facet of this discussion. Like you said, will he be able to come back? I mean, we look at Roger. We all thought Roger was going to do one last hurrah at Wimbledon, but last year, but he just wasn't able to. He wasn't even able to play in Basel, his hometown tournament.
Wouldn't it be sad that if this was like the announcement was the intention to come back, but then it never comes to fruition? That's the big fear, is like you take some time away and you're never able to, and you don't want that to be the final announcement, was, oh, I'm thinking about coming back, and then you can't, and then there's sort of a double announcement then. sort of takes the edge off the actual final announcement.
Yeah. And again, it's pretty similar to what happened to Roger there. I think he can kind of learn from that experience that he was up close and personal with. Roger was expected to, as we said, play Wimbledon, whatever, and then of course he couldn't, and then boom, a few days before Laver, it's like, oh, it's going to be his retirement party, right? We kind of were
surprised, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just. It was a little more expected though, because we obviously hadn't seen him on court since he got bageled by Hurkacz at the end of that quarterfinal at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
So it was, it's a little bit less of like a sting because we hadn't seen him in our eyes, for so long in regards to tennis and on tennis courts. But with Rafa, yeah, it's definitely different because social media, we're watching him practice all the time. Anytime there's a little niggle, there's a whole bunch of talk and chatter. But I would say on the whole, this is, for Rafa fans and tennis fans in general, this is good news. We definitely don't want to see the abrupt end to someone's career. We don't know how it's going to go, but at least his intention is to continue on.
Yeah, exactly. I think I got JG sending me another message. I think he's still at the airport, but we may be able to get some words from... Yeah, might get some words from him there just to hear his reaction. Just bear with me. I'm just trying to just get that downloaded. Then everybody we can upload that. I'm sure everybody wants to hear JG, the biggest Rafa fan out there.
For sure.
He was bricking it the whole day. I've been on text to him the whole morning. He's just anxious, trying to find out. And then his flight been delayed a bit by the looks of it. So he's been able to hear the announcement and he can give his reaction as well. So let's I think it's just uploading now. Let's just play this for you.
Beauty.
Hey, GTL, still at the airport. The flight's been delayed by an hour, so I have some time quickly to look at the news. I've been watching the video. Great job, Covey and Ben. And if I'm being totally honest, it's not the worst news in the world. He's not retiring. We're going to see him play tennis again, hopefully. It's just disappointing. We're not going to see this magic 23, him versus Djokovic, maybe Alcaraz in the mix as well. Roland Garros, for me, is completely ruined. I'm not looking forward to it like I was. Of course, there's still Alcaraz and Djokovic to see what they can do, but it's just not the same for me. Watching a Roland Garros without Rafa there is destroying me. But it could have been worse. He could have retired. I know 2024 now is going to be his last year. I kind of thought that was going to be the case anyway, so it's not that much of a shock. But yeah, bad news for Rafa today. He's going to be back, and I still believe he can win one big event. Whether that could be the Olympics on the clay at Roland Garros, we'll have to wait and see. But Rafa fans, stay strong. He's not going to be here this year at Roland Garros, but he will be back. Vamos!
There we go, JG giving his reaction there. Thanks for that, JG, sending that in. Nice of you. And cheers for pinging over some tweets and stuff as well. He's obviously all over Twitter, so he's trying to keep an eye on what's going on, all the reaction going on around the world. It's not just it's like a global event, a Rafa press conference. So
yeah. I'm really happy for JG though that he's not jumping on a plane not knowing the news and then having to wait 6 hours in agony. At least he gets the peace of mind of, okay, I got the news, now I can kind of chill.
I mean, it makes JG's mind is at ease. The part of me that is a little bit worried now, like I alluded to before, is when you make this announcement, do you think that there's part of him in the back of his mind that thinks, I'm not really sure if I am going to come back? Like, I'm sure he has the best, like, he wants the best for his fans, wants the best for his career, he wants to get number 23, wants to still compete. But is there an element of doubt that he can still do it? I don't know.
I think it has to be in the back of his mind, no matter what. Because if you expected to be out for 8 weeks and now it's gone to 4 months, that's got to continue lingering in your mind until you get back on court. You know what I mean? Because if you were expecting to, you know, in your mind, yeah, Roland Garros, that's my place, that's my jam, I'm going to be ready for it. And then boom, our 2-month recovery extended to 4 months, and now we're not even recovered. So yeah, I think it definitely has to get into his head. You know, will I ever come onto a court again? But it seems like he's confident. He seems, again, I heard him a little bit in the English speaking, but he seems like he's going to come back with the way he's talking, the demeanor. He doesn't look dejected. He doesn't look sad or like it's unlikely. Yeah. And that, you know, this begs another question in regards to the Grand Slam question. You know, a lot of people saying, well, first of all, we started for the year. We had Alcaraz. We're missing Alcaraz in the first slam. In the second slam, now we're going to miss the prohibitive favorite. So now it's kind of a bummer. We didn't have Djokovic in the U.S. Open, so it seems like one of these superstar players keeps kind of dropping out of these tournaments. And there was a question before where people were saying, if Alcaraz wins, he didn't go. He won a major, but he didn't go through Djokovic. He didn't go through Nadal. He didn't go through, obviously, Roger. And so now I wonder, there was almost like this legitimacy to winning a major, and that legitimacy included going through one of the GOATs. Now I wonder, since Rafa's not going to be there, and say if Djokovic were to get knocked out and someone else wins the tournament, will someone say, hey, that wasn't, they won their major, but they didn't go through Rafa, they didn't go through Djokovic. I feel like that conversation now is going to kind of end because of the new generation of kids who are coming up.
Yeah, I mean, eventually that has to be nullified anyway, surely. That you can't keep having that conversation and saying we couldn't go, because you could say that for any era of tennis. It's just like, you didn't go through Jimmy Connors or something. Yeah, but he's not playing anymore. Yeah. So you can't keep on bringing up old players. Like, there will be other players coming through, and it's just we were scared that eventually it's going to come to an end, this era, but it will. That's just the way life works. Eras do come to an end. But it's just, we wanted to see it go. Everybody wants the big hurrah as the last end. That, like, how many sports people go out winning like a big like tournament or something, or do they just try and get the last bits out of their career, and you just see them sadly, like Federer, just sadly fade away in these last few tournaments, which he had a little bit of a run at Wimbledon, but he just got bageled in his last ever match. You don't want to see that at your best ever tournament to receive that. And I wouldn't want the same for Rafa either. The last memory you have of Rafa was him winning the French Open the last time he played it. I think that's better than him getting knocked out in the first round by, I don't know, Marazan or something like that. Imagine. So that's why he doesn't want that. He doesn't want everyone's memory of him at the French Open. He's only lost 3 times. He doesn't want to end on like a first round loss, does he? That's going to be terrible for his like legacy. That everyone's going to look back at that record and think, wow, only 3 losses, or wow, in the last one he still tried and he got to the semi or something like that. That would still be an amazing like result if he still came back and didn't even win it but got far. Early exit. No one wants to see him go out because they know it's not real. I say it's not real. It's not that real if Rafael Nadal was to lose early, because you know how good he is. It's not realistic. Yeah. It's not like the same person. So.
And now, what do you think? Assuming he plays in both Roland Garros and this is a stretch, Olympics next year, but let's just assume that that's the case, and then he calls it a career. Where do you think he would have a better chance now? Like, say, will he have the aerobic fitness, and will he be ready for a best of 5, or will he have a better chance potentially at winning a gold? Do you think than another Roland Garros in the future? I feel like the Roland Garros will be a little bit tougher now.
Oh, definitely. Definitely tougher.
But he could still, still being the king of clay, potentially go into the Olympics and be so psychologically, like Rafa in their heads, in the opponent's heads, that he could kind of have a half a set lead before the match starts type of thing,
I mean, it's all sort of speculation, I know, but that's sort of why we're here. We, as fans of the sport, it's just in our DNA to speculate over what's going to happen in the future for tennis players. That's part of the sport. I'm hoping that he just comes back. I'm hoping that he gets to play both. I think, if I'm perfectly honest, why waste your time with all the other tournaments? Just spend all your time preparing for clay courts, and when you come back, get a wild card and get into the Roland Garros draw, and that's it. And just go hell for leather for that one last tournament. If you want a warm-up tournament, go for it. But I would love to see him come in. Obviously, he'll probably need some sort of practice, match play and stuff. But if it's just as much as just one or two small tournaments, and then he just goes straight in, and you get to see as fit as possible Rafael Nadal for one last hurrah, and he playing his top tennis, I think everybody would be up for that, because if those other players are in the draw as well, it just adds to the spice of the tournament, and it just puts the eyes on the tournament as well. Like right now, I know it's probably not true for majority of tennis fans, but there's probably now, I don't know, millions around the world who might not even watch Roland Garros now.
Yeah, no, I mean, for sure. He is a huge draw. I mean, every year the question is, can he keep doing it? I think I've mentioned on my streams at least a couple dozen times that I've counted him out so many times, in year 12, in year 11, year 13. You're kind of like, okay, this is the year that there's no way he can just keep winning 7 matches in a row constantly on the hardest surface to play. And he just does. He's one guy you can't really count out. But I think you asked one question earlier about, going out in your ideal way. And I think we all want to see the Sampras, like Rafa going out in a blaze of glory, winning number 15. And Sampras was kind of the exception to that rule, unfortunately. It's very rare that you get
early,
to go
though.
out.
That's the thing. And that's the thing. If you retire in your early 30s, then you can go out in the blaze of glory.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Sampras, he did have a huge drought though, from his 13th to his very last. I think there's a few years in there, so it was kind of a surprise run in a sense, but it wasn't totally like, it was less surprising than if Roger had made it to the finals 2 years ago. Like that would have been a bigger surprise, I think, because he was out for longer with injury and whatnot, but. But yeah, let's hope he gets to lift a couple more trophies, some big ones. Hopefully, maybe a Masters, maybe another Grand Slam.
Yeah, I mean, it might be too much of a tall order.
It's amazing how quickly we watched him win number 22 last year, and we were watching Djokovic win 22 last year, and now both of them within less than a year of that time, both of them have these kind of questions that were not even in their aura, like no one was even talking about, oh, is Rafa going to retire? Oh, is Novak starting to get up there? And now, boom, like you said earlier, Father Time is undefeated. And all of a sudden, just like one moment happens and it changes the whole trajectory of kind of what we thought. Yeah.
He's coming up to, obviously, his birthday is always during Roland Garros. I mean, you can't write that, can you? It's like it's almost scripted. Doesn't make sense that his birthday's during Roland Garros every year, which he will be 37 on his next birthday. So he's closing in on 40. It's pretty much like, even if you're super, super fit, that the career is coming to probably a gradual end anyway around that age. And it's credit to him and to Novak and to playing at the age they are and still winning slams like so consistently. That's something that didn't used to happen, and now that is a thing. And I feel that people are fans of just these people, these players as people, more than they are of tennis themselves. I feel that this is what those players have done for this generation of tennis, and that's why it's so disappointing when they miss a tournament for so many people, because they're only watching for people that they love him. They love Rafa. They love everything about him. It's not even about his tennis. They love his whole ethos on life. They love that he's so funny and friendly, and he's always got time for everybody, and he's so nice. And you don't really get to see like many bad sides of Rafa, and that's why he's built up such a big fan base. And then he's obviously had like his relationship with Roger, and that's made everybody's hearts warm as well. And it's a little bit of a fairy tale, I'd say, like especially both their careers. I'd say Djokovic and Nadal in completely different ways are sort of both fairy tale careers. Obviously, Djokovic coming up from where he grew up and very tough beginnings, and he's an inspiration, that's for sure, to anybody. And he's always said that in his post-match press conferences. I would say people who come from a tough upbringing are always much more likely to succeed, and that's the way he always sees other tennis players coming up from the same. He would always support them, and he's very, very supportive of anybody from a rough background, let's say. And I think that's very admirable of him. But
war-torn.
Yeah, exactly. War-torn backgrounds. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like, not many people don't know what that's like, and he's somebody who has experienced it. I mean, Rafael Nadal maybe doesn't know what that's like, but he's got his own merits for being like he's a completely different character. He's won people over with a completely different game style, a completely different personality. When he started his career, he had super long hair and sleeveless shirts and
wearing capris and stuff. Yeah,
this is what I mean. Like, and he was in a Shakira video. That's what I mean. It's a completely different way of like the way they both came into tennis and into the fame game, so to speak. But they both handled it really well, I think.
Yeah, because think about it, when these guys are 20 years old, they're not thinking, oh, I'm going to have 20 Grand Slams, because when they're 20 years old, no one in the history of the world had ever gotten more than, on the men's side of 14. So for them to be sitting here today, 8 more than what was the record when they were just joining the tour. It must be mind-boggling. Now, the thing is, when you start winning them, you start getting used to it and it becomes your reality. So to them, it's not a big deal now that they've won 22. But if you were to ask them when they were younger, hey, would you be happy with 16 Grand Slams? Would you be happy with 8 Grand Slams? I'm sure they would have been like, absolutely. Because when you're a kid and you're playing, you're like, man, it is freaking hard to win 7 best of 5 matches against, the other best players on the planet. But these guys just continually were able to do it. I mean, even the Rome finalists that you were mentioning. 2004 was the last time that neither Rafa or Djokovic were in the final of Rome. I mean, the dominance is borderline ridiculous.
Yeah, and I always find it crazy that he has his most wins at a Grand Slam, like for a tournament win. It's just not many people can say, "Oh yeah, I've won my most tournament." Like, what's your best tournament? Oh, just Roland Garros.
Yeah,
the one that goes over 2 weeks and is most grueling surface that there is.
Yeah. I mean, more than Barcelona, more than Madrid's, more than Rome, all that
Monte
stuff.
Carlos,
it's comical, and it just shows the level of his championship mentality. Like usually when you go somewhere 17 years in a row, and 1 year he actually pulled out because of the wrist injury halfway through, so he didn't actually even lose a match. The other 2, he actually only lost 2 matches. But just imagine, the pressure that he feels, and you need things to go right for you. You know what I mean? Like, to win a Grand Slam, you do need a little bit of luck here and there. And just the fact that it just never broke against him just shows how absolutely dominant he was. Like, there's no comparison. I mean, Novak is kind of getting close when it comes to the Australian Open. But 4 is still quite a distance away for like single dominance at one spot.
Yeah, I just want to take a moment. I'm not sure if we read out some of these super chats that came in. We had Rowdy Every Point came in earlier on saying, I want Rafa to play the 2024 Olympics at Roland Garros. Yeah, we all do. Appreciate that super chat. We had the Ghost in. I think I mentioned Jimmy Connors. Maybe my mistake. He said, where's my dang Jimmy Connors button? Yeah, I know. You keep on asking for it. I should make it eventually, shouldn't I? And then we had hoo-ha with Nadal versus Djokovic one more time. legendary rivalry. I hope we get to see it. That's the main thing. I really hope we do. And we can't be left on 59, can we? It's just not a nice number.
It's it's just not flush. I know what you mean. We need 60. Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter when at this point now. I just want to see 60, but hopefully in some sort of place of consequence.
Yeah, for
I remember Roddick had a chance last year to face Novak, I believe, in Madrid, but then I think Andy Murray pulled out of that one. And that kind of match comes to mind, because I was actually really excited. I wasn't expecting Andy Murray to do much against Novak on clay. In the ages and metal hip stuff, but I was still really, really excited for it. So hopefully we do have another chance to watch number 60.
Yeah, for sure.
Or a chance, I should say.
Well, I hope we have a chance to watch number 60. Still footing questions in the presser at the moment.
Yeah,
not been any English questions though.
Yeah,
only Spanish questions.
I have the volume on half so I can kind of see if they switch, and I've just been waiting to hear English.
Nah, it's not. There's not been one yet. I've been keeping one ear on it. I've only got one earphone in, so I've got one ear on that. But there's not been one English one.
Well, I wonder if his wife is going to be a little happier now that they have a little one running around the house, and he'll be around the house a little bit more.
Well, that's the other thing that I was going to bring up too. Is there is obviously the fact he's a father now. Does that if he spends much more time at home and he becomes more a family man and he's much more involved in the upbringing of mini Rafa, then maybe that will be enough. And maybe he'll just think, oh, do I really need to just go and try? Like, I'm still hurting a bit. Like, I could play, but I'm been the happiest I've been in maybe years not playing. And that might be the final nail in the coffin for the tennis career if he just is able to experience fatherhood in a different way. Just being there 24 hours a day and just doing all the things that regular fathers do, I guess. Just going out to the park, coming home, feeding, all of these, or bath time, or anything that goes on with being a dad. I mean, he'll be much more involved now for the next year. I'm sure there'll be a lot of physio going on in between, but it does have its positives.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, maybe he'll be like, hey, maybe I want to play one more time just so I could say that my son watched me play at Roland Garros, even though he might only be 2 years old at the time. He might just that might be like something that motivates him to actually want to do one more hurrah as well, right? So could go either way. But I think in the end, pro athletes, they know that there's an expiry date. It's not like you're just an accountant and you can work until you retire, right? And so I think he is obviously aware of that. I would be really surprised if he ended up saying, you know what, my life's good, I'm good. I feel like he's still got a little fire in him, and I think he'll keep that in the forefront of his mind. I mean, he's such a competitor. He's tennis hasn't really seen that guy who just plays every point like this is the last time he's ever going to have a chance to play tennis, and it's really that's a part of his charm. You see other great players, kind of give up on points, give up on matches at certain points. Never seen him do that. And that is a quality of his that will forever go down, I think, in tennis lore.
Yeah.
I mean, look at number 22. He's down 2 sets, and was he down a break or almost down like a double break?
Number 21, but Australia, was that one?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah, 22 was Roland Garros last year. Yeah, 21 is what I was. Yeah. So yeah, that's just the epitome of Rafael Nadal. This guy's 10 years older than his opponent. He's down 2 sets in a break, and he's still just unbelievably plays 5 hours and wins.
Yeah, apparently we have hit 100 likes on this video, so appreciate everybody who has hit the like button on. They're on 116. Continue to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We have a special 100 like song, so let's play that now.
Thank you for hitting 100 likes. Now we're feeling alright, 'cause the second 100's inside. Thank you for helping us hit 100 likes, giving the people what they like. It's such a delight.
It's such a delight.
That's
We got
right.
a nice comment from Ems. Ems,
Yeah.
one of our regulars in the house. Besides all the other years, the AO22 that Rafa gave us, as he would say, was unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
I love how
Indeed,
you
it
throw
was.
that in the button at the end. The Rafa button.
You have to, don't you? I mean, come on.
It's
It's
too
one
good.
of
Yeah.
one of his main things. We got Gary in with a interesting comment as well. Much bigger chance of there being a number 60 with Rafa getting wildcards and Novak still being a top
Good
seed.
call, Gary.
Yeah, I like that comment.
Yeah.
Cheers for that, Gaz. We've got M's in, just throwing in some Rafa emojis as well. If you want to throw some of them in, join the membership, hit the join button underneath, become part of the GTL community, and join us for the remaining part of Rome and Roland Garros itself. There will be no Rafa, but there will be GTL. We'll be covering all of the action, and there will be an even bigger chance now for Novak Djokovic. If you're a Djokovic fan, you must be looking forward to Roland Garros even more now. There's a big opportunity. I mean, hopefully you don't meet Holger Rune too early on, but that could be a real tough test. Anybody who's playing him. And
So here's a question. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all right, mate.
I was just gonna say, without Rafa there, does it count if you win Roland Garros this year?
Well, that's the big question. It's like if did Australia count when Novak was there? It's all of these things. I think they all count because you have to win 2 weeks of tennis to win a slam, and they're all bloody hard to win. So if you win a slam, you're always deserved. Just unfortunately, there's just some people can't play some of these events. Some people get injured. Some people can't attend. This is just life. Unfortunately, we can't be looking at this going, oh, well, they missed that missed that. The only thing that you probably could look at the end of it is see how many slams they've got from how many slams they entered. That would probably be one way of looking at it, and just say, well, if he entered
the ratio
45 and he won 23, and he entered 50 and he won 22, then he's probably got a better average anyway than him anyway. So that'd be one way to look at it. But then there's always going to be people who go, but he won all of his at Roland Garros, so he's not.
Exactly.
There's always there's always going to be that side of things. So I like it because it's always going to be a disagreement. So we always get to talk about it. So there's never going to be anybody who ever agrees on it. The Rafa fans love Rafa. The Djokovic fans love Djokovic. The Federer fans love Federer. And that's the way it'll always be.
Yeah. And like you said, and like our friend GSL Gary says, that if you win a major, you can't take that away from someone. You win, you win. And that's that. So
exactly right. Well, I think that we've probably done this to death now. We know the news. We know that Rafael Nadal has announced he's not retiring from tennis.
Woo.
Even though I got confused at one point listening in Spanish and thought he had pulled the plug on the career. Sorry if
my
I
heart
worried
sank.
anybody
By the
there.
way, I didn't say it in the moment because you were doing the active translation, but my heart sank when there was one moment where it sounded like you were saying that he was going to retire, and then I was like,
He did. I was watching the translation come through, and it just said sometimes you just have to put a full stop on the career. I'm going to put a full stop on the, but he's obviously missing. I'll put a full stop on the career at the end of 24.
Yeah.
So that was God, absolutely.
Yeah, a split second where my heart sank.
As soon as I saw it, I was like,
yeah.
What's he saying? But anyway, luckily I got that wrong. Like I get many other things wrong. I'm sure JG will go and watch that one back and then give me some stick. Thanks for JG for sending in his reaction as well from the airport. Safe travels for JG, and hopefully he gets to his destination in time to watch West Ham play, because I know that he's a big West Ham fan. They're playing a semi-final second leg tonight. And I think he was supposed to land as it started, but now obviously he's been delayed. So he'll probably land as the second half starts now. So Fingers crossed
no.
for West Ham for JG. And yeah, fingers crossed for Rafa for a full recovery. And we get to see him, who knows when, whenever he tells us. Another press conference. We might be doing this again soon.
Yeah.
But
Well, in the end, good news. Rafa is not officially retiring this year. He's saying next year. And so a year without Rafa at Roland Garros for the first time in 17 years. There's a couple times where he never pulled out before, did he?
I think he did.
I think maybe once. Once he pulled out before, and once he pulled out in between matches, and then twice he lost. I think. Is that right?
3 times, isn't it? Because he's lost 3 matches.
but one was a pullout, is what I'm saying. Like he pulled out.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because he had that wrist injury, so he didn't actually lose the match.
True.
But anyway, yeah.
Whatever goes down on the record, anyway. Right, let's wrap this one up. Make sure to join later on. Is it Tsitsipas Coric is the second? Yes. The second quarter final of the day. Covey, you'll be covering that one. Is that right?
Yep. It's supposed to start in about 3 hours and 40 minutes is the scheduled start time. So keep that in mind, GTL folks. I'll be streaming that live at 11:30 Pacific time. That's the scheduled start, and there's no other matches before, so we shouldn't see any sort of delays like we have been the last couple of days.
Yeah, it looks like Medvedev's cleaning Yannick Hanfmann up. Sad. Hanfmann had such a good tournament, but it looks like it's maybe the Rublev one was just one match too far, or the Medvedev one match too far. The Rublev one was excellent, but Medvedev, he's not a clay court, is he?
Yeah.
Look at him go. He's going to be in the semi-finals soon.
There you go. 6-2, 4-1 up right now. He is.
He might get the match that we want. Tsitsipas Medvedev.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Rublev will be watching with popcorn. We know that for sure.
Well, let's see if they have another fight or if they ignore each other or whatever goes on between those two. But thanks everybody who joined us for this one. Apologies it didn't get going, but for some time, and apologies for the poor translation that I worried everyone. But make sure you've hit a like, subscribe if you're new, and join later on for Tsitsipas Coric.
See you guys later.
See ya.